As cool as that is, having open headers, we do need to build an exhaust. So we're gonna take an old school set of mufflers that you can't even get anymore, and we're gonna build a 3-inch exhaust to match the headers that we just did in the recent video. We did the header modification. We're gonna start gathering parts that I have over here on the shelf. So we're gonna build our own badass do-it-yourself 3-inch exhaust. Kind of keep it as budget as I can. Is a old school set of Mac flow paths. Now this is stuff that was matched up with an old Mac Pro chamber. And you can see it's still got the flow tube on it. So this is gonna be kind of a laid back video where we're just gonna mock up an exhaust to put on the black car. As we talked about in the last couple months, we're gonna be doing videos with other mufflers and we're gonna hot swap them to do a sound video, to do a cam chop video, drive-by burnout. Just to give you guys an idea what it sounds like with a stroker motor, 3-inch exhaust. It'll definitely bring out the sound in some of them mufflers. So if you'd like to hear a certain muffler here on the channel, we got a whole list of them that we did in a live chat. We're gonna set this exhaust up where we can kind of slip fit it and be able to put whatever muffler we want in on it. But since you can't buy the Mac Pro Chamber or the Mac Flow Paths anymore, we're gonna start with them, because I've been saving these for a long time, and it's no time like the present to actually put them to use. So I got some exhaust pieces from my old turbo stuff that we had that I have not used, and a whole bin of it over there on the shelf. So we're gonna bring that stuff down and kind of sort through it, kind of see what we need. You've seen in the header modification video, you know, we did the extensions on the BBK 1 3/4 headers for our 387 stroker. This is gonna be a do-it-yourself, kind of a budget, build your own exhaust system. As we already got the tailpipes in place with the Flowmaster 3-inch tailpipes going over the axle. So we're gonna mount this X pipe up to where I can just switch mufflers pretty much on the fly. It'd be something cool for the channel. Being old school mufflers, they both have their own little wear and tear inside of them, but they should still work out pretty well. I would put them in a hot tank, but they're not gonna be on there very long. So as you've seen right here, this is an X-Pipe Summit build your own exhaust piece. We use the 2 bends there for our turbo exhaust, and here's 2 of the legs that we're gonna be using for that system. So this stuff up here is kind of a hot mess. So we're gonna actually pull this down and start organizing it, because I got exhaust pieces, brand new and used, all over the place. I got a whole pile of mufflers in the back. Didn't even know I had a couple Mac flow paths. It's gonna be a pretty cool build, I think. Set it in a place with slip fit. It's not gonna be permanent because we're gonna be messing with the exhaust quite a bit. Kind of keep it as budget as I can. A lot of this stuff I bought on Amazon, some of it I bought on Summer Racing. A couple $100, build my own shit. We managed to get everything from the shelf over to my little pile here. And this is the universal kit that I've actually used this before on my white car when it was 363 naturally aspirated. Just a universal 3-inch X-Pipe kit. So that's what we're gonna actually build our 3-inch exhaust with. We have some spots that we used on our turbo Y-pipe that we made where we actually have a stud in the floor pan. This will be one of the rubber mounts. There'll be 3 rubber mounts on the X-Pipe that'll be mounted to the headers to give it a little bit of movement. We're gonna take a jigsaw too. This is a 3-inch ID, 3-inch OD, slip fit like reducer. So we're gonna cut this muffler open and get rid of all this excess. We're gonna cut it down considerably enough where it just slips inside of the muffler. We'll clean the muffler up and we'll weld this on. That way I can just slip fit the X-Pipe on. That way the next set of mufflers, you know, I could just put a coupler on it or just put a band clamp on it. And then I got a bunch of sets of good Flowmasters that will do the same thing too, where we'll convert them to 3-inch. So we'll do Flowmasters as the second set of mufflers. I think it's gonna sound really good, especially with the cam change that we're about to do in the black car. I know we won the smaller B31 camshaft that works with our 170 heads, but I think we can actually get away with running a B451 camshaft. That's the one we want to go with. I think it sounds, that's a pretty nasty little camshaft from Anderson, but. So let me get my mess cleaned up and then I'll get these cars swapped over. We'll get started on mocking it all up. So first order of business was to cut the 2.5-inch inlet and outlet out. Since you cannot purchase Mac Flowpath mufflers anymore, we decided to cut the block area out, check the insides to make sure they're not rotted. And we started to mock up the 3-inch ID inlet and outlet to convert our mufflers over to our 3-inch exhaust. We did paint them with flat black high heat header. Running over and grabbing some just some 16 gauge sheet metal. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut out 4 pieces that are pretty much the same size as this and just weld them in. And like I said earlier, we're going to do a 3-inch cutoff wheel, just make a hole right in the middle and just kind of convert these over. Again, I'm doing all this work just because these are matte. They're not terrible inside. They're not all rotted out. So let me get busy and I'll show you the end product here in a second. All right, so you guys kind of get the concept here. Just going to go ahead and weld this plate on and put our little 3-inch, cut this little reducer down and just kind of set it in the hole and weld it to the muffler. Easy peasy. So instead of actually jigsawing the hole, we ran over to Harbor Freight and picked up a cheap 3-inch Hulk saw cutter, which actually ended up working out pretty good for our situation. So we ended up getting our old school Mac mufflers all set up on a 3-inch. I think it looks pretty good. Good enough. I'm going to put the black car up in the air. I'm going to mess with the tailpipes real quick and kind of set the mufflers a little bit. It shouldn't take too long to do the X pipe, and then maybe get you a little sound clip by the end of the video. All right, so this is what we're kind of looking at right here right now. It's going to have to naturally be down further because then, I mean, we got a 3-inch inlet and outlet now. So be kind of cool, man. We're going to get a board and we're going to actually set these mufflers up just like literally right here. And then we'll see what the tails look like. Shouldn't take too long. Main thing is to try to get the tails kind of slip fitted up for now. It won't take me too long with band clamps and slip fits to build an X pipe, at least for what we're trying to do. And right here is where we're going to start tying in our X pipe. We'll come up with something like this. Come right off the collectors right there so we can dismount them. And then we'll run 2 pipes right here where our studs are at. And then that way I can hot swap mufflers into my tailpipes. So after about an hour of different pipes and bends and welds, we ended up getting the whole X pipe mocked up with band clamps into our 3-inch mufflers. Now it's time to take a listen to that old 1990s sound of those Mac mufflers, reconditioned and repurposed. For being band clamps, I don't really feel a whole lot of leaks. Got a little bit here, of course. I don't really feel anything for what it is. But this is only kind of be temporary for now. We're gonna take 1 band off at a time and probably weld this stuff up, but pretty cool, huh? That's all the ethanol, the E85. Man, does that sound take me back. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Which one's your favorite muffler? Those mufflers ain't been fired in a long time. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We put together a little X pipe with a black car that we could actually take apart. Next muffler we're gonna try is the Flowmaster. Check out that old school Flowmaster sound. We're gonna do a video where we take it out on the road, do a little bit of burnouts, do a couple of drive-bys, maybe take it for a ride, get a little in-car sound, out-of-car sound. But this is the first of probably 10 mufflers that we're gonna do. This is the old school Mac 1990s, old school Mac sound. These are the Mac Flow Pass. You can't buy them anymore, so we recondition them for purpose. If you like this sort of content, consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Leave me a thumbs up, check out that join membership below. Appreciate you guys for watching.